You get a signature boot. You get a signature boot. Everyone gets a signature boot. Why is it that something that was previously given out to only the best of the best is now being handed out much more commonly and to players, with all due respect, less notoriety? And in this video, I'm going to explain to you why we see much more signature boots and signature colorways. First of all, let me explain to you the different types of signatures that we see. First of all, we have a signature boot. Now, this is a boot which is unique to all the other boots that a brand sells, and is also exclusive to only one player. For example, the Adidas Messi line, which was only for, of course, Lionel Messi. And next we have a signature colorway. Now, this is a boot which is same in build to one boot that's already on the market, but it comes in a colorway or a silhouette which is exclusive to one player. For example, the Nike Mercurials that we see Cristiano Ronaldo wear from time to time. And then you have this weird group of like kind of signature boots, which you can call personalized editions, which are usually handed out to players to commemorate a special occasion or an achievement in their career, like maybe reaching a certain goal record. Now, an example of this would be the gold Hypervenom Phantom 3s that Harry Kane got for winning the Golden Boot at the 2018 World Cup in Russia. Now, the reason why we see signature football boots in the first place has to do with one word: marketing. Now, signature boots or signature colorways, they're not special awards which are given out to players, so kind of get that out of your mindset. What they are is just a way for brands to just boost their profits. So think about it like this. We all grew up maybe kind of looking up to a certain player and wanted to play like him and even try and get the same boots as him just to try and emulate him on the pitch. So what brands will do is they kind of realize this thing and they incorporate it into their marketing. So what they'll do is they'll create a product which is more attributable to a player to amplify this effect, and hence make the products more desirable to players who look up to a certain player. Now, if you really think about it, it's never been about how good a player is. And when you really think about it, it's always been about who is more marketable when it comes to footballers and creating signature boots. Let's look at the Adidas Predator, for example. Two of its most famous wearers are David Beckham and Zinedine Zidane. Both phenomenal players, but Zidane was the better player and had the more accomplished kind of career. Yet, while both of them were still players, Beckham would be the one that got more signature silhouettes. And this isn't because Adidas thought that Beckham was better than Zidane. It just happened to be the fact that Beckham was much more marketable than Zidane. And at the time, you couldn't even argue that David Beckham was pretty much the most famous footballer in the world. Now, fast forward to today, where we see much more players with their own signature boots or signature colorways. And again, it's all about marketing, but you know, in today's day and age, there are kind of three main things that kind of change the landscape of marketing from now compared to yesteryear. And number one is social media. Thanks to social media, players are much more closer to fans than they have ever been. And because of this, players are able to garner a huge following, as well as pretty much have their own brands to kind of sell themselves. They're like players nowadays, you could almost say they are sports people who are kind of like influencers in a sense. And because of this, brands will team up with players and use them as ambassadors, as this allows them to tap into like different markets that they couldn't do before. And number two would be fast fashion. Now more than ever, brands drop new colorways of a boot or a new boot more frequently than we've ever seen before. Like by the time I finished making this video, Adidas probably would have dropped another colorway of the Crazy Fast. And because of this continuous release of new colorways or new boots, it's harder to make or for a boot to be more attributable to a player. Like you can watch a match and pretty much all the players will be wearing similar boots. So handing players a signature boot is almost like a way of them standing out a bit more on the pitch. And ironically, we've kind of seen the opposite with Toni Kroos. So everyone knows how he's won the 11 Pro for the last decade. So that was just a standard colorway when that was released. But like, since he's continued to wear it for so long, it's become attributable to him. And so it's almost like a pseudo signature colorway. And the third difference is different brands, different rules, different ethoses. So you kind of see in the way they market things. So the way Nike market things are way different to the way Adidas or New Balance or Puma market things as well. As well as that, some brands just don't have the ambassadors that other brands have, you know. So they actually have to use whatever leverage that they do have to gain or garner some kind of foothold in the market. So that's why you see, no offense to them, some players of lesser notoriety, like the likes of Eze or Harvey Elliott with their own signature colorways or signature boots. And I believe a different combination, or maybe all things all together, is the reason why we see so many players with signature colorways or signature boots nowadays as well. So I'm now going to give you two examples. So let's look at Puma and Christian Pulisic. With all due respect to Christian Pulisic, even though he is the LeBron James of soccer.
This guy's like the phenom guy, right? He's like the LeBron James of soccer. Definitely.
There are better players than him that wear the Puma Ultra that are also ambassadors but do not have their own signature colorway of the boot. So that's the likes of Kingsley Coleman, Kyle Walker, and even Antoine Griezmann. However, since Pulisic is pretty much the star of the US national team, and the fact that football is growing more and more every year in North America, as well as the fact that the US are going to be one of the hosts of the next World Cup, it makes Pulisic more marketable and more of an asset for Puma than some other players. And we see it in the inverse sometimes, where we see very established players who are underused by brands that don't even have their own signature colorway or signature boot. Take, for example, Kevin De Bruyne.
Let me talk! Let me talk! Let me talk! Let me talk!
KDB has arguably been like the best midfielder in the world for the past few years, and was even wearing the Phantom GX before Haaland. Yet Haaland got his signature colorway before De Bruyne did. And it's even like very strange to say someone like him, who I personally believe is even the best Premier League midfielder we've ever seen. He came third in the Ballon d'Or, which is no small feat. He's just not as marketable as some other players, which is quite weird. And then again, it might have just to do with like maybe Nike's marketing ethos, you know. I personally feel if he was with another brand, he'd definitely be like the poster boy. But all of this is pretty much just what I kind of think. It may not well be fact, but it kind of makes sense to me and hopefully it makes sense to you. Well, that's pretty much been it for the video, guys. Comment down below who you think should get a signature boot or signature colorway next that doesn't already have one. If you like the video, be sure to press the like button as well. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Follow me on all my socials, they'll be on screen. And like always, my name is Sub. This has been SubStanceFtbl. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.